guys? Josh Bushing, Fairly Awesome Podcast here with the crew. We are having a conversation and discussing which one has more headaches, PC or Xbox?
Consoles.
Or consoles. I mean, I was going by Xbox.
Sure. And we can go off of that.
Okay.
We'll see how that
Well,
goes.
Xbox is about all I own right now, so. Anyhow.
All right. So I think that this started when a little bit of lead in on the conversation there was somebody asked what price point would the Steam box or the Steam machine have to be competitive, and I think I said something about 700 to 1,000. I thought it had to be in there. Mm-hmm. And the comparison was made, well, doesn't it need to be competitive with the Xbox One price, right around 500. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I think, because PC allows you to achieve higher performance than anything else, and it is it is about as close to infinitely upgradable as you can get, versus
reasonably modular.
Console, you're static.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I said, that gains you something. But then there's the headaches of a PC, right? So then that sort of led us in here, and Josh made his...
Well, I think my argument was that I don't think that the PCs have more headaches than consoles. Now...
You say argument, what I hear is outrageous assertion.
I know, you're like in total rage mode beforehand when we were discussing this earlier.
I've calmed down a little bit.
So
you practice that.
No, make your case, Mr. Bushing.
Well, I guess it really just revolves around what constitutes a headache, right? What is a headache? Well...
Is this gonna be like President Clinton?
To be clear, this is a what is the definition of is? It's the present form of to be.
I did not have red rings with that console, Mr. Whiskey. I wanted to.
Lord knows.
Oh, God.
Okay, so how would you... What was your example of your average PC headache that is...
Okay, so today, I don't have headaches playing games on my PC at all. Mm-hmm. Like, my computer's always on. It's always upgrading. I use Steam, so all the stuff that they patch it, or if they're patching specific games, excuse me, if the Steam automatically updates those and patches it to the latest version. I don't have to touch it. I don't have to mess with it.
He doesn't have to run the game first. I think that's what your argument you're making with this, right?
Right.
Because in Xbox, if you need to update...
For an example of my headache with the console is, right now, I haven't turned on my Xbox in a while. A while being probably 6 months, right? Since the last time I played Battlefield 3 with you guys.
Sure.
I know that doing so, I'm probably going to have a system update that's going to take 20 minutes to install. I know that I'm going to have another hour-long download of like some 6 gig patch file for Battlefield 3 just to play.
So I'm going to reassert that your issues are mostly because you don't play the console, and 2, because you're basing most games on Battlefield 3 experience. Because Battlefield 3 is a little ridiculous with how large of a volume on your hard drive it takes.
Well, what Ryan was just saying, your PC is always on.
Yep.
If you were playing your Xbox every day,
you wouldn't have these issues
you would
at all.
have a lot more play time as opposed to update time, whereas since you're only playing it once every occasionally, then when you turn it on, you're right, you do have some kind of update.
Is it a headache, though?
Well, I would argue that it would automatically do this for him, right? If he was doing it on saying he's playing Battlefield 3 on his PC, right? Or he's playing some other game that needs to update because there was a giant multiplayer release. Right. Steam will do that while he's at work, while he's wherever. He doesn't have to launch something to cause it to go. In Battlefield 3, you do.
If he turned his PC off and didn't play it for 6 months,
yes,
and then turned it on,
yeah,
he'd have to download before playing Battlefield.
Right. This is
multiplayer.
This is correct. This is correct. But it's the same thing with Xbox now, right?
If he left his Xbox on all the time,
yep, it wouldn't matter if he didn't launch Battlefield 3. He would still have to go put the disc in the drive, say launch. Okay, now I can download the update and download it.
Okay,
to update it.
Yes, but the system
update. That way. Some updates are that way. Some updates have to be launched the game. Some updates, like the big Battlefield updates, like the 1.5 GB multiplayer patches and stuff like that that can be downloaded separate, you can queue those up and download them on your console.
Right, but it doesn't automatically. You have to go
No,
queue it
it does.
yourself.
If your
It
Xbox
does.
is on, right? If your Xbox is on,
You have to go queue it though. You have to go to the website, log in as Bushing, blah blah blah
You
blah.
have to buy the expansion.
Yeah, exactly.
Really,
No, I mean
okay,
go in
yeah,
there,
you have
go
to
in there,
and say you want
and
to download
manually
it.
click and say, okay,
right,
I want
right,
this
right.
patch.
So,
Alright,
but
so-
you're saying software updates
Yep.
are perhaps more user friendly.
Yep.
Yeah, on a PC.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll give you that. Hardware updates. Let's talk about those.
Okay.
I have not had a headache ever updating my hardware for consoles.
Yeah, I mean,
You've never replaced a hard drive,
I have replaced a hard drive.
and you had a nightmare with that. Remember, you lost you lost your Forza progress.
that was
Transferring
that was a
Forza
thumb
3.
drive.
No, that
You lost your progress though.
Nah, that was not a hard drive though. That was not a hard drive issue. That was my the thumb drive that was holding that.
Still hardware issue though, right?
Is it a hardware with that thumb drive? I mean, here I'm making an argument for you. I'm just saying.
I think it ended up being because it was when USB support first came in, and silly me moved. You can't copy, like some of the save files you have to move. You can't copy so that you can't dupe things. For example,
Yeah.
in this, your garage value can go up, and if you were able to copy your save,
Yeah.
you could, let's say,
Dupe it.
yeah, let's say you had a $20 million car in your garage or whatever. You could send it to a friend. If you could save your save file somewhere else,
Yeah,
you could
just
just
to the
reload
computer
that
or
and you
whatever.
could dupe it.
Right, you can modify the
Oh, I
profile
see.
information in a save file. I had to do that for Assassin's Creed 3 because my download, like one of the behind-the-scenes downloads, corrupted my save file, which I know
Oh.
never happens on a PC. You've never had a save file get corrupted by anything. It corrupted my save file, so then I couldn't get the 100%. So I managed to find somebody who had 99%, took theirs, replaced their profile with my profile, and got the last achievement I needed because in this case the software screwed me. This was nothing to do with Xbox. This was,
The game.
the game. Their in-place patch. If you were playing the game when the patch finished, ate your save game. Happened to a lot of people.
Wow.
So I don't know if it even happened. It may have even happened on the PC version. I don't know. I did not look. I was too busy being pissed off at my Xbox version to care.
So
So
I'm going to call shenanigans mostly on there's the whole world of headaches of upgrading hardware that we're not even really talking about.
well,
with
let's talk
PCs.
about them on the PC. What are the headaches of PCs today? I'm not talking about
When
1998.
you installed your solid state drive, did that go completely smoothly? You didn't have to look anything up. You didn't have to, you didn't have data transfer.
Was it truly plug and play?
Did you put it in, turn it on, transfer your data, and were you done?
No, I mean I reinstalled Windows.
You had to reinstall your OS.
Yeah.
Every time I've gotten an Xbox and turned it on, I've never had to reinstall my operating system. It's just been there and happy
That's
and cheerful.
Cheerful.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You can't possibly tell me how many PC components have
Now,
you had go
I
bad
could have.
over
However,
okay, since 2006, how many PC components have you had go bad that you've had to replace? Power supplies, hard drives.
that was 2005 when I lost a hard drive.
So you haven't had any failures in the last
You've had zero
8
hardware
years?
failures.
Zero.
Zero.
I've replaced good components and just swapped them out with
Okay,
new
so
ones.
because you haven't given it a chance because you're bleeding edge tech guy.
Perhaps.
Yeah, okay.
Not necessarily,
And
though.
every hardware that you've swapped out has gone completely smoothly. And by that, I mean you put it in, you ran it, and it worked perfectly according to
The
manufacturers.
last couple of times, yes.
Couple of times, but you've switched
Well,
everything out frequently.
Yeah, not necessarily frequently. I was working with an old school board that I got from you from before.
Yeah, but that was relatively recent.
2008? 9?
Seven.
Somewhere around there.
Seven.
And then the last time I upgraded was processor, motherboard. And that
You know
was
what's in the
like
box.
3 years ago.
I think you're a liar. And here's why I think you're a liar.
Let me just throw this out.
God.
This is bullshit because what happens is that it doesn't go smoothly. But the problems you encounter, you're comfortable fixing. Therefore, it's not a headache in your mind because, oh,
Well, then again,
I
it
know
goes
what's
back
causing that,
to the
and I'll
headache
just
problem.
fix it. See, but now here's
But
the
it-
thing:
but
is that
can
for
you
you
really
to,
consider
that takes you time, and for you to say, well, downloading this system update or this multiplayer update is a headache because it takes time, even though you don't have to do anything other than just chill and chat with your friends while you're waiting for it to download.
Yeah, what percent is it at? 37. God damn it, 38
don't
now.
get me wrong. It's hilarious when you turn on Battlefield after like a month and there's a multiplayer update.
Yeah.
That is funny because it is. It's like, don't worry, guys, I'll be on in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That's part of my problem. That is a headache. That is a headache to me. It might not be a headache to you, but that is a headache to me. Because my time is valuable.
Okay, but when you do a component upgrade and you have to fix a problem, like for instance, you just had an issue installing a drive and it took you extra time, but you've declared that time was somehow not a headache simply because you were comfortable in that time. You were doing something, you're probably fixing something as opposed to just waiting.
Actually,
You didn't even get it to work, did you? You started the install from a laptop and were remotely installing what you attempted to add the drive to install, right?
No.
No, did I misunderstand what you were
Yeah,
saying?
you misunderstood. We were talking about installing Office,
Right,
and I had an Office disk.
right.
And you couldn't just pop that disk in and have it come up and installed, and then boom, you're playing. Maybe you download an update and boom, you're done. Because that's what happens on a console.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think you.
I refuse to let you change the subject.
No,
and turn this into a console bash when we know everyone watching this knows damn well that a PC will have at least as many headaches as a console, and usually significantly more. You might have resets on both, you might have hardware issues on both, but when it really comes down to it, what you're comfortable with on a PC fixing
But once again,
far outweighs
that's
anything we have to do with a console just chilling out.
I think he makes a good point. Let's continue this conversation, guys.
really
so
at two Captainators.
So in traditional Crossfire style here, I think we'll.
Just gonna break
Jesus.
Is what we'll do.
All right.
Apparently.
So I don't get it because I have to say that anytime I still have a PC that is capable of gaming, and I do game on my laptop every so often.
Okay.
You're still running into issues of compatibility when you get down to
Different people run into compatibility issues, right? Because everybody builds a different machine for the most part. None of us here have identical machines.
Right.
You will have those issues, right?
Right, and that's
Possible.
kind of the obvious point I'm making here that you're gonna run into some of those issues.
Sorry for my bulbous head there.
That you're gonna run into some of those issues of, if you've been building PCs for a while, you're like, oh yeah, don't use this stuff because it's crap. You don't have that at all, right? Like, I'm gonna throw them under the bus, and maybe they're awesome now, but like.
Well, let's take
Let him finish.
When new memory came out, it was like, do I choose this type or that type, and you end up going with some super cheap memory. Mm-hmm. You simply don't have that issue on console because you don't even have the option. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a headache or not, but all games will work on your Xbox regardless of upgrade or not.
The only argument I would say that, and you could rule this out now because Microsoft has fixed it, but was when the Xbox had all the red rings and we had all send our Xboxes in. Essentially, if you were a first gen buyer, you got screwed, and it was a matter of time.
I would say for you, upgrading and dealing with PC issues is actually part of your enjoyment.
Well, possibly.
It's part of your job.
It is, and then to give Josh a little bit of help here.
But
anytime something happens with our Xboxes, red rings, freezing, it doesn't matter. When something happens, it's infuriating because you have basically no control.
Yep.
Right?
You're
at Microsoft's mercy, whereas you actually say, "What's wrong? How can I fix it?"
Right.
We don't really have that opportunity. We're just like, boned again.
Yeah, right. It's true. It's true. And you end up sending it in for a manufacturer, hopefully, whatever it is.
You get a refurb.
Refurb, yeah, or whatever. in the case of PC, you can send that individual component in if it's in the warranty.
Right.
Yeah,
Which you could swap it out and put something else and still be going. That's the whole.
Like also,
I guess
in
like-
this generation, I've built an i7 PC, a PC totally capable of gaming, and maybe 2 months in, the motherboard went kaput.
Wow.
It went kaput.
Wow.
Maybe that's very rare. Maybe it
Yeah,
is.
it is.
But
This
when it
day,
happened,
yeah.
it was a big effing pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, of course
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. You have to rip everything out.
Because if just the DVD drive had gone out, if just the memory had fried, if just, even the CPU, if the CPU had fried out, I can replace that without too much issue, really. I mean, it takes a time to get all that stuff out and, reseat it and everything, but the motherboard, right? That was just crazy.
That's your Red Ring of Death though.
You're
for
in-
the Xbox.
Yeah, I think
It's the
hardware
same
is
concept.
But 2 months in, I didn't feel like I really had anything to go back on. It was an Asus motherboard. I didn't really feel like I had anything to go back on Asus with. I bought it from Tiger Direct. Tiger Direct said that's not on us. I might have been able to go through Asus to get something.
you could have.
been able to RMA it.
Yeah, so I don't know. In the end, it was like almost the price of an Xbox. I mean, it was $220 some for the motherboard. It was a big error to have.
Yeah.
And it was just a huge pain in the ass. The other thing that I super duper love is the front ports on a lot of cases use weird pinouts on the motherboard. They're all different. Every time you wire them up,
Yep.
every
I'm talking
single one
about
is
like
different.
just the
The
power and
hardware
reset.
He's
and
right.
stuff.
He's right.
If you not just the power, but like front-mounted USB or front-mounted
No, they're
audio.
all identical.
They're
now.
all standard.
They're all
They
standardized.
it.
Okay, well then, as
things are,
recently as
like-
i7 motherboard, it was still different. It was still different.
You're talking about power, hard drive lights, all of that stuff, right?
And front-mounted USB.
See,
and-
USBs
those are
and
all
stuff
they're
are all-
They're all snaps now. Like
Yeah.
they all just lock in
They're,
like
they're
a
like
USB
little
plug.
They're like little
essentially.
jump things
Yep.
that for me, but the pinout was different on the two motherboards,
that's
right?
weird.
So you had
That's
to figure it out every
strange.
time. You know what? I never had to do that
Yeah.
on a PC. Going back, like
That might
if
be
we
the
look
case.
at if we look
Yeah,
at like
it's-
sub 2006, right? Because this is when I went from heavily PC gaming to console gaming. Now I still have like I said, I still have the PC for gaming. I just don't do as much on it anymore.
Right.
When I had that, I would have issues of if you chose the wrong graphics card, and maybe this
Yep.
was a thing of the day,
It was.
but
For sure.
the war
But
between
these are-
NVIDIA and ATI,
Yeah.
does that not still rage?
Honestly, Nvidia won for a long time, but now ATI is coming back. So you're right. It still does rage, but the
So what about so the graphics drivers were a huge deal. If you-
ATI had horrible drivers.
You're right.
Always had horrible drivers.
Look at Stan's over there. Just
I will totally just be like, yes, they had horrible drivers back then. But today, like an NVIDIA card, I download a program, game experience,
Have you
click, done. It automatically tells me to update.
Have
It
you
automatically
gotten-
updates every single game that I have it. It sets
all
the
the
resolutions.
options, yeah.
and
Steam?
and stuff.
Steam is
It's
convenient.
not
I get
Steam.
it.
This is NVIDIA.
Okay. Well, what about have you ever gotten malware since 2005 or 2006?
No.
You not a piece.
No.
What about what do you call those? Like the spam?
Trojans.
Yeah. Have you got any viruses or nothing?
No.
You're among the few, I would say.
Yeah.
That
well,
that haven't got anything.
I know we have to. I know you probably want to make a final point before you wrap this up. Do you feel like we've kind of ganged up on you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good, because you're wrong.
Well, you know what? No.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna before we just continue to go on and on and on. We'll sign this off, and I guess we'll just say if you agree that PCs are less headache than we make out, then back Josh up. Comment down below if you got this via Facebook. Then just put the comments right there. We'll catch those and respond to those as they come. If you do want to see more content like this, and you want to agree with the rest of us that say that consoles are way less headache, massively less headache, then yeah, just don't comment, and we'll assume that everybody that watched
Everybody
it.
that doesn't comment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's a vocal minority, right?
It went without
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, we've got what 350 Twitter followers, 270 something likes on Facebook.
300.
300
likes on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to figure that's good 650 people out there that agree with us.
Even if
And-
they're the same
yeah,
person, that's
yeah.
650 people.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. That's what we
Math
got.
is
All
hard.
right. Anyway,
Yeah.
if you do want to follow more of our content, you can go over to our Facebook. That's facebook.com/fairlyawesomepodcast. And you can follow us on Twitter at FAPcast. Thanks for watching, guys.
Josh is actually the host.
It is your business.
Fucking
Super fun,
Christ,
man.
I thought
I'm
I
sorry.
had guests.
last half hour of Raiders of the Lost Ark over here.
He chose poorly.
That's Last
was
Crusade.
Last
Yeah.
Just making Geek Confession.
Another difference.
I've only
Junior.
seen Crystal Skull and I thought it was awesome.
Junior.
I'm into aliens. What?